Welcome back, everybody. Now, expert perspectives on the upskilling and training of teachers required to assess and monitor learner development were presented at the launch of the Bamba Learn App by Afrika Tikkun Bambanani last Friday for ECD curriculum. The program is designed to help teachers advance at the same time by giving them the tools they need to identify students with learning disabilities, plan interventions, provide psychosocial support, and of course, keep track of their children's development. All right, we're now joined by CEO at ATB, Teresa Michael. A very good morning to you, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is quite interesting. I mean, what motivated you to develop Bamba Learn, and what kind of challenges did you encounter while creating it?
Well, we work in rural schools, in rural areas, with children between the ages of birth and 6 years old. So while working with children and trying to develop a curriculum for them, we discovered that there was a lot lacking. So the curriculum provided by the Department of Education, unfortunately, is just a skeleton, and it's just a baseline for teachers.
Yeah.
And these practitioners in the rural schools are really busy. They are busy doing the cooking and the cleaning and looking after the little ones and changing the nappies. And there was never time for them to actually do lesson planning. So we did this for them. We created this lesson plan for them, and that is the ATB curriculum. And then at the same time, we took the teachers and we upskilled them in the curriculum. And then we thought these children need extension. These children need something, they need to also be exposed to technology, hence the birth of Bamba Learn. So that is the app that we developed, which is an extension of the curriculum in the classroom. And it's for children to use every day for about 30 minutes a day, just to enhance the curriculum. It's an excellent app, so it's also for children all across South Africa, children across, there's private schools that are interested in using it. There's schools in rural and township areas. And our whole philosophy, because we are an NGO, is for those that can afford to pay, those schools that can afford to pay for the app, they will pay. And for every child that can afford to use the app in their schools, a child from an underprivileged school will then be able to use the app for free.
Now, this being an extension of the existing curriculum, how then do you think that Bamba Learn will help early childhood development pupils and their teachers, and what makes it different from the other educational apps?
So this app is the curriculum. So it's not only numeracy or literacy or puzzles. It's the entire curriculum, and it covers all the outcomes that are in the curriculum. So that is fine motor skills, gross motor, cognitive development. There's art, there's storybooks, audio books for the children to put earphones on and then to listen to these fun stories that they can engage in. Puzzles. If a child can only do a 10-piece puzzle, then that is where they will start. But if there are children that are quite advanced, then they will move forward. So our whole philosophy is no child should be left behind. So whether a child can fly and go and do something quite advanced, then they can go ahead and do that. But if there are children like we have an inclusion policy, inclusion is the new norm. So the children that are a little bit slower, that just need a little bit more time, that need more reinforcement, the way that the AI is written, it will keep going back to where they are battling and give them games in different formats so that they can then master that before they move on to the next section of the app.
Now, can you tell us more about the research or the studies that you conducted to ensure that Bamba Learn is actually effective for young children?
So first of all, we cannot overexpose children to screen time. So that was the most important thing that we really seriously considered before we developed the app. So that is why it is not more than 30 minutes a day. And some schools have opted for 30 minutes 3 times a week. And that also works really well. The games have been developed by professionals in the field, by ECD curriculum specialists, And the assessment tools have been developed by therapists. So we got a group of therapists together. So they're speech therapists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, psychotherapists. So they got together and they developed the screening tools, which is the back end of the app. So after the children work through the various games, then the back end shows you what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, so that we know how to give extra attention to these children in the classroom. So everything's been developed with children in mind, also to get them school ready, because studies done by Thrive by 5, which is the government studies that they did, children are 4 years old, only 35% of children were ready to move on to the next stage of grade R. So that is quite sad. So with that in mind, and with the fact that at the end of grade 1 is one of the highest failure rates in South Africa, we developed the app so that children would be school ready for grade R, school ready for grade 1, and then to have the building blocks firm enough for them so that when they do start school, they do start on a good footing.
All right. Teresa, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. And we certainly hope that this particular app will adapt to the individual needs of each and every child. Lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us on the show. And if there are any corporates or any businesses out there that would like to sponsor underprivileged schools with the app, please, you can find us on our webpage, which is Afrika Tikkun Bambanani, and our details are there.
All right. Great chatting to
Thank you very
Teresa.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
that was
bye.
Tikkun CEO Teresa Michael speaking to us about the new app aiming to assist early childhood development learners.